little known fact that we found out last night because we all have fun with Solo Sokoa. When you type pew pew on your iPhone and send it to somebody, you get a laser show. Who knew?
I thought my phone got a virus last night. I hit you. Like,
I
what
was
the hell's
sending them
going on
everywhere.
here?
And it was funny, too, because you had texted me and you're like, oh, what was that? And I was like, I was going off to do something, so I just kind of fired and forgot. And I was like, hey, somebody text me pew pew. And it popped up and I was like, oh, cool. Our names are Matt Jackson and Sean Green. We were just veterans BSing in parking lots about wrestling and their storylines until last year when... Dude, why are we just talking about this? We should record it and start a podcast. When you start a podcast, you have no clue what you're doing. You fumble through all the technology.
Yep, you're back up, but you froze for about a minute. Oh, you're gone.
You rely on Google searches and reviews to piece it all together. You rely on your co-host for insightful content.
Surprise, surprise!
And as
Live and in Technicolor.
Dude, you've got an iron bladder. Because I have to go again.
you make some friends along the way. The big man himself, El Jefe himself, Mikey.
Okay, let's just rip the Band-Aid off, shall we?
Hi, Nick. Long time no see.
This is going to be a match real soon.
You eventually reach 100 subscribers. Reese hit our 100 subscribers, so perfect timing for Reese. Bottom line is, as you continue to push out content, you'll always have a podcast. With all that said, welcome to the If We Had the Pencil podcast. Here are your hosts, Sean Green and Matt Jackson. Welcome to another edition of the If We Had the Pencil podcast. I'm your host, as always, Sean Green. And with me, as always, is my tag team partner, he who swims with jellyfish and prefers meat tenderizer and not being peed on if he gets stung by them, Matt Jackson. Matt, how the hell are you?
Good. I mean, unless the wife wants to pee, then that's okay. But no, I'm not going to let some stranger do it.
Man, we're coming in hot already.
Yeah, I was telling Sean before he went on, I was in the Gulf, and the water's nice and calm, so I'm just chilling on my little floaty, like, drifting around, and I'm like, well, you know, I've been there a couple hours or so. I'm like, I guess it's time to head in, and before I get off the ramp, off the raft, or the floaty, I always look. Look to my left, big-ass jellyfish. First one I've seen the whole time I was there. I'm like, okay, I'm not getting off that side, and I look to the right side, and there's another one just as big, and I'm like, I really can't swim out of there because if I do, I'm going to hit jellyfish. So I just had to let the tide just kind of work its magic. And then I was done. But supposedly for all you folks that go to the beach, I guess if you get a jellyfish sting, the old wives' tale of peeing on it helps. It really, from what I heard, it's meat tenderizer. You put meat tenderizer, it takes the sting out.
All right. All right, folks, in your comments section, make sure you give us all your jellyfish facts and
now we definitely, we talked about peeing on people, so now we really have to have the explicit tag on the video.
Yeah, no shit.
Will it fall under sports or will it fall under adult entertainment and suberotica? That's what it's going to be categorized as. And now you made it Chappelle's, so now we're going to totally confuse. We've totally screwed the algorithm. The algorithm's going to be like,
lover's going to love, I don't want any of the above. I want to piss on you. Yes, I do.
I plead the fifth.
Anyways.
Right. So now we've totally confused the YouTube algorithm. It's not going to know what to do with this, so it'll probably just put in the trash bin.
But they're talking about Chappelle. I don't know what to do with this.
You know what? Nobody gets to watch. That's it. We're confused. Nobody gets to watch.
We're going to generate our graphics for the show, and the algorithm's going to be like, I don't know, Kevin Owens, freaking Chappelle, I don't know, anarchy.
That's not it. That's not it.
You know what? Our last two shows, we've been in Canada, eh?
Hey,
and we are just going to Tim Hortons it up, and we are just going to talk some massive Canadian wrestling.
There's a lot to talk about.
Because we started SmackDown in Toronto.
Yeah.
Yes, Toronto, where the Leafs lose. Oh.
But
I'm just
Toronto,
getting all the hate in today.
but Toronto gave us Rush, so they get a bye.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Yeah, just because it's Rush. Like I don't care if it came from wherever. If it came from Afghanistan, they gave us Rush. You get a bye on that one. But I'm very partial to.
You know what? My memory of Toronto, I have two distinct memories of Toronto. One is I went to the Canadian National Exhibition like way long ago. And I actually, the Snowbirds are Canada's version of the Blue Angels. And I saw a plane crash with the Snowbirds. And in Toronto at the Canadian National Exhibition.
Was that when the old exhibition stadium was still there?
I don't remember, man.
Before they
was
built
younger.
Skydome? Yeah, because I did see
No, Skydome was still there. Skydome was still there. It just
I actually saw
because that's where the Argonauts play.
Yeah, well, I saw an old Blue Jays game at the old C&E, like the football stadium that doesn't look like a football stadium, so they made it into a horrible baseball stadium. But it was cool. I got an autograph ball. I was like 12 and met Vida Blue and Willie Aikens and Quisenberry, and I was happy.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, the late 90s when I was still doing Drum and Bugle Corps, like, one of my favorite memories is Canada, but it was Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario, Canada, and it was Oktoberfest, which is the second largest Oktoberfest next to Germany.
No
Little
kidding.
known facts. See? We
back
educate on this podcast.
Good stuff, eh?
Yeah, damn right, eh?
Yeah.
I just finished off my Tim Hortons.
Remember the good old days where you could just like, oh, we can go to Canada, and we didn't need a whole bunch of documentation.
Bro, I grew up in
anything
Rochester.
illegal in the country? No. All right, have a good day. Enjoy
I grew
your
up
day.
in Rochester, New York, right? So, hour down the road from Buffalo, hour and a half from Niagara Falls. So, like, it was not unheard of to be like, all right, man, let's just go to Canada because you could gamble. Like, when you're older than 19, you could smoke, drink, do whatever you wanted in Canada. So you're just like, let's go, on a whim. Like, we're going to Canada. And, you go through the same crap every time when you would go into Canada. You're like, all right, everybody be cool. Nobody say anything effing stupid. All right. And then you would go in. So it was just Canadian memories. And then, everything changed. So, you know what hasn't changed? Sami Zayn ranting and raving.
Sure.
And, yeah, boo, effing who. And we get this opening segment.
I like it, though. It's fun. Sammy.
It is funny.
It's funny.
And water bottles are never safe around Sami Zayn. And
I think that's how he really hurt his wrist. I just don't think
that would be awesome.
Like, if that's a legit reason why he hurt his hand or his wrist, maybe he went to smack a water bottle and maybe he caught like an equipment box instead and did something.
Yeah, no, that would be so awesome if it was like, yeah, man, my carpal tunnel kicked in smacking a water bottle past Johnny Gargano. Like, oh my God. But I mean, the long and the short of it,
if you want to throw a good rib at Sami Zayn, like, put a water bottle, just put, like, some sand in it or something like that. Make it, like, hard and heavy. Yeah, just,
Ooh, wet sand, even better.
Yeah, yes.
I mean, all that really came out of this, we get the Nick Aldis, I'm sick of this, and no touchy order. Like, that's essentially what came out of this. Like, you guys can't beat the crap out of each other anymore. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, Randy was good. Cody... Yeah, I want Cody's ass to get whooped. And so did the fans in Toronto. Like, they are very behind Randy Orton in this. And I think everybody either wants just to see Cody get beat up or they want to see a Cody heel turn. I really think that's what the fans want. And I'm not talking about the IWC because they're like cackling hens. They're like a pigeon that shits on a chessboard and they proclaim themselves to be an expert, Anyway, so...
and we're going to talk about that because I had to reference the IWC a little bit today because there was some things that I did not understand from last night, but we'll get into it.
Okay.
So we get this.
You sought the IWC for guidance?
Not guidance, insight. I mean, look.
Yeah.
Long story short is, if you dig far enough down the replies on certain posts, you're going to get some information that's worthwhile. Yeah. And I kind of did out of this one.
And, Cody quotes Heyman at the end, but I think he's done that before.
It's just, I don't know. This wasn't one of like
Neither one of them's
pissed off.
best.
Usually pissed off Cody gives you good stuff, and this one was just meh. This whole
Yes.
show was kind of meh.
Yeah,
I
even
don't-
Randy wasn't as good as he. I mean, Randy was still good, but it wasn't the Randy Orton we expect. But
Yeah, no.
But when you got guys like KO and who's just like an LA Knight who's been killing on promos and solo, it's
Pew pew. Which, hey, little known fact that we found out last night because we all have fun with Solo Sikoa. And when you type pew pew on your iPhone and send it to somebody, you get a laser show. Who knew?
I thought my phone got a virus last night. I hit you. I'm
I
like,
was
what the hell's
sending them
going on
everywhere.
here?
I was like, and it was funny too because I was like, it happened, and I'm like, you had texted me, and you're like, oh, what was that? And I was like, I was going off to do something, so I just kind of fired and forgot, and I was like, hey, somebody text me pew pew, and it popped up, and I was like, oh, cool. So
Well,
yes,
Because Katie texted me pew pew, but it didn't do the
maybe
trick.
she
so-
spelled it wrong. I don't. But it was fun times. Lots of fun was had with the.
I think it was right.
But that's Monday Night Raw stuff. So we get R-Truth, we get Priest, and we get the MFTs. And this went about as far as you kind of expected it to go. I mean, now that they got, Haku involved with the MFTs, they're going to go on a run. They're going to hold on to those titles for a minute. There was some fun stuff. It was a pretty good match, honestly. And, I think we're coming to the end of Priest and R-Truth, but I think it'll be an amicable split, not a...
I think so. I thought after that match, I'm like, oh, is Damian going to turn on him? And I didn't really want to see it happen because you can split up. Priest needs to remain a good guy for a while. Turning him heel would have made no sense. So I think it was good. I was really impressed with the MFTs. They looked great. Tala was really good. Tama looked really good too. Tala like chucking clotheslines like JBL. Killed Damian Priest on one of them, but looked good. Their finisher, that Red Cross, is really sharp. It reminded me of Total Elimination by the ECW Eliminators team. Really good spot. I think Haku's all the difference in the world because now it gives them some prominence just because of the Haku name. And maybe they're letting those, and I think too, creatives like telling those guys like, hey, let's mix up your repertoire and make you look better than what you've had in the past. So I like the change. The MFTs are now like entertaining. So like I'm not going to be sitting there going, well, popcorn match. Like the MFTs are now worth watching.
Time to take a poo. Now,
Yeah.
Speaking of taking a poo, so CM Punk sitting there on the backstage with Kathy Kelly, and long story short, he's hyping up his match, and then Randy just basically goes like, hey, after I take care of Cody, I'm coming and taking your title too, whoever wins. And I was like, okay. There's a lot of this SmackDown was a lot of like, okay, whatever, moving on. You know what I mean? Like they did the
There's a
right
lot of
things.
They were setting
set
stuff up
pieces.
too. Yeah,
This
wasn't when we get to the end of SmackDown, I really like how it all came together, and we'll talk about that. But I mean, this was fine. Just Punk, like, yeah, I know the crowd's not going to like me. Like, well, you're a dick, and you're used to getting booed anyway, so that's cool.
And I'm about to say something negative, and it kind of involves Chelsea Green. Like this little click between like Chelsea, Tiffany, now Paige is kind of getting in the mix, and obviously they're up against Fatal Influence. But like when those three get together, it's almost like girls' night, whoop whoop, girls' night, and it's just like, can we move on from this? You know what I mean? It's just like, all right.
Yeah.
Again, it was just another like, okay, setting the stage here. Painting.
Yeah, I didn't care for the stuff in the background. The background, it was whatever. And I know at some point Tiffany's going to probably turn on Chelsea, and then they'll have a feud at some point. And Paige is somewhere in there just to even up the numbers. But then you got Blake Monroe, who just like endeared herself to Toronto by running down the city. It probably made you very happy when she ran down Toronto. It's a little
I
bit
don't
of.
hate Toronto, to be honest.
I was going to say it must make you feel better after Paul Heyman basically said that they can give Buffalo back to Canada, and shit all over Buffalo on social media and on Raw. So, but
Yeah, it's
no, I
okay.
tried to. She just kind of being snotty, and so I'm like, this is our first time, by the way, seeing Blake Monroe like in ring. So like my interest was piqued, right? We do this backstage segment. I'm like, all right, we're gonna have a match. Nope.
Nope. No, you got kind of the appetizer. They'll run it back, and they'll just kind of build it up. It's fine.
I just,
again,
I think
set
it's, I
pieces,
think
dude.
it's a lot. I know. It's just, I didn't like it because I think we should have got something. I mean, she went in there and she attacked Julia and beat her up. Like, after they, for 2 months or more, have shown these vignettes, she shows up and she's out there for less than a minute, beats up Julia and leaves. I don't know. That didn't work for me.
To quote Caddyshack, you'll get nothing and like it.
Sir, yes, sir.
I want a hamburger. I want a cheeseburger. You'll get nothing and like it. Oh, nice hat. Did you get a free bowl of soup with that? Okay, and then to carry on with the awkward, bizarre stuff, we get Alexa, Charlotte, and Tatum backstage, and then Matt's favorite group, Jade and the Horribles, show up, and
yeah,
okay,
yeah, I've renamed the baddies, folks. I don't call them the baddies; I call them the Horribles now.
Yeah. Okay. So we
like
get
Bobby
our boy
Brown's, like Bobby Brown said, it's my prerogative.
Man, references everywhere. Pop culture's popping today.
Yeah, I know.
But
we have to start doing like pop culture trivia or something as part of the show.
Then it all falls apart because they'll be like, this musical artist, I'll be like, I'm out. If it's not TV, I'm out. Like, I don't know, that guy that did that thing. You know the song.
If it's sci-fi or Marvel movies, like I'm tapping out too.
I got you covered on the sci-fi for show. But
Faux show.
Trick Williams comes out, Little Yachty's with him, calls out Corbin. Obviously, they got a good little feud going here. And, so this sets up where Corbin gets to beat the shit out of Little Yachty for 5 minutes. Now, I need to understand this stipulation. Is this Corbin has 5 minutes to win a match with Little Yachty, or Little Yachty just has to not die?
He has to last 5 minutes. So this is probably some of our older viewers, especially in the South, remember they used to do angles like that. Usually it was if one guy beat another guy, then he would get 5 minutes with so-and-so, like his manager, and they would usually just beat the shit out of the manager, leave him bloodied, and leave. So this is a little different because this is a precursor for a match instead of the result of a match. So the match will actually be the result of this, which is I think kind of creative and unique. I like it. So you're going to see Yachty's going to be running around. He's probably going to be, ducking and trying to survive. And as I bet you at about the 3.5 minute mark, Corbin's going to get him and start tossing him around. And somehow some shenanigan will happen with 30 seconds left of the timer, and Yachty will be able to escape, and then Trick will get his match.
Does Corbin have a submission move? I don't even know. I know he does End of Days as his finisher, but is he got
I don't. No,
I don't know. I almost see this.
I don't visualize him as much of a submission.
No, I
style
don't
guy.
either. He's more brute force, but
I would still think
about
some type of chokehold, maybe even something like a Cobra Clutch or something that.
I mean, you could go simple. You just do a Boston Crab, and then Yachty's just sitting there squirming and crying, and Trick's going 10 more seconds, mofo, 10 more seconds. I could see that happening.
That's
I don't know.
True. Yeah, and then right as the bell rings, Yachty passes out from pain and exhaustion, but he made it to the 5 minute mark, and Trick
1 second left, his arm's coming down, and then it's oh no, the bell ring. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, they're gonna play it something like that. That's what they used to do, hour-long draws. The guy would either have him for a pin, and the ref would hit the second time, and the bell would ring because the time limit ran out, or he'd have him in a submission hold, and the guy would just hold on until the time ran out. So you'll probably see something similar to that. But WWE
Who's the ref? Who's the ref for that match? Who are you putting as the ref, Matt?
It's gonna be Charles Robinson.
No way. I don't think so.
No,
I don't know. I don't even know what the ref's name
who's
is.
the other guy that's like died like 20 times, like
That
from
dude,
ref bumps?
That dude goes dead fish. Like that guy is awesome. I can't think of his name, but like that guy,
The one,
like Charles
the one
Robinson,
during...
you can't miss. But like,
yeah,
the other guy, like who got like killed like twice, like in one match, and you're just like, oh,
yeah, he was out for
guy.
like 9 minutes.
Yeah, and for some reason lately, it just keeps on happening, and somehow we just don't have another ref queued up. What is he back there? Like, oh, got to put his shirt on. Like, I don't know.
Somebody spiked the punch bowl in catering, so that's where everybody's hanging out. I don't know. It'll be fun. With Yachty's. So I was thinking about this with Yachty. I think now WWE is going to be way more careful in how they use celebrities, and I think a lot of it had to do with Travis Scott. I think Travis Scott taught him a lesson.
He's still walking to the ring right now. He's about halfway.
Yeah. He's on his what?
He's never
10th
gonna
stage
lose that.
stick.
Just
Is that sage I smell in the air? But no, I think they learned from that because they ended up cutting that whole deal, like merch and everything. I guess it was like millions of dollars in there, and like
it's because they set him up for failure, right? And like nobody gave him real good guidance, like, and it's silly because like even if you watch Unreal, right, you can tell who respects the business a lot and pays attention, and like Jelly Roll pays attention, right?
Yep.
Like when you watch, and I get it, it's propaganda, whatever, but when you watch Unreal and you see all the interactions leading up to Jelly Roll's match, it was just like, okay, yeah,
yep,
he gets it. No, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. It has to be me getting,
And I would be surprised if Yachty's kind of the same way. Maybe not as...
Yachty's done fine, and Yachty doesn't...
Yeah.
I don't get the impression that Yachty's going to come out and try to, like, wrestle. He's going to try to survive, and that's what he needs to do.
No, I'm talking about Yachty as a celebrity in WWE. He seems like a dude that's been a lifelong fan, and it's like his dream to be part of it, and now he found his guy in Trick. So I think he's so happy to be there. He's willing to take bumps and beatings. Like,
he's taken a couple, but he's been protected as well. Like, some of the bumps he's taken have been a little soft.
Yachty needs to come out in a padded suit on Saturday night's main event. Like, he needs to have so
What
many,
are the
like,
inflatable sumo
oh, yeah.
suits?
Yeah, like with elbow pads, like multiple knee pads.
He wears some weird crap anyways. Just have him come out in all white bubble wrap. Like looking like the kid from A Christmas Story. He can't put his arms down. He just comes out like...
Corwin can't beat him because he runs out of time because he can't pop all the bubbles.
He tries to put him in a chokehold, but he can't because there's too much bubble wrap. Oh my God, that would be great.
Oh man, this show went off the rails 30 seconds and hasn't got on back since. It's awesome.
Hey man, like I said, this SmackDown was really just like, meh. Yeah. All right, cool. Because we get another backstage segment. Like there was a ton of backstage shit like during this episode.
It does crack me up. It does crack me up when Gunther like acts like Finn is invisible. It's just something fun. It's just something funny about it, and I think it's Finn's like reactions, like what are you talking about? And Gunther just goes on like he really doesn't see him. It's hilarious.
Yeah, no, I think, Gunther's got to start taking some solid L's. I'm gonna stay by that because he's still getting protected L's, right? Like he'll lose, but he's like losing in like multi-person matches and shit like that. He needs to take some legit good L's. And, it can be a slip on the banana peel, but it's got to be one-on-one. Like, we can't keep on, because you're
Gunther
tiptoeing the same problems that you had with Gunther. Yep. You're tiptoeing that with Obafemi. Like, you're tiptoeing around that shit because, like, you built him up to be a monster. He's got to get his comeuppance.
If you can have Gunther take a couple of reasonable, like legit, like good L's, ones that don't hurt the character.
I don't consider Jay a good L, and I don't consider Sammy a good L.
I think Finn's a good L, KO's definitely a good L.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Gunther has a couple of those, and then like he just goes on a tear and beats everybody because guess what? Gunther figured out what he needed to do. Like by losing, he figured out what he needed to do to win. So that's believable. But when you just win all the time, and that's why he's kind of stagnant right now. Like he's in the world title picture, but he's not like the main guy.
He's
Like
world
he was
title adjacent right now.
Exactly.
And like, there's a lot of hurt feelings and boo-boo faces going on SmackDown right now. Like, why aren't I in the main event? Like, Jesus, stop whining.
Like, you got a ring out there. Go figure it out. And
So we get this. We get Tiffany Stratton and we get Lash Legend. And like, this was all set up earlier. Tiffany ends up with like the hurt ribs, and you kind of knew when she got hurt earlier. You were like, okay, she's dropping the U.S. title. She's gonna lose. You just like, this is gonna be like all title bullshit, whatever. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, again, nothing so far has like blown up my skirt during this SmackDown at all.
no, but I'm glad that they let Lash go over here and not Tiffany. That would have been horrible because
No,
like if Tiffany's that hurt and
rightfully
then
so,
she still beats yeah.
And
Like we
she's,
talked about,
like I said, she was
good L's. Like Tiffany has been taking some good losses. Once
Yes.
she's got out of that world title picture, she's taking good losses. They don't hurt her. It's going to make her better, especially when she gets on a run, which will probably be when she turns on Chelsea and they fight over the world title if they keep it on Chelsea that long, which would be dumb not to if you're going to set up Chelsea and Tiffy. But that's just me thinking.
all right, Matt. You're up because Shinsuke Nakamura, which I can actually pronounce, we find out who his new partner is, and his new partner is
Hiromu Takahashi, otherwise known as what? Coyote?
I guess so. I don't know.
I forget.
Give
It
me
means
time.
something.
I don't know. Like, I was like, this is one of those things where like the way we operate as a podcast kind of worked against us because I was like,
I wanted to cheat and watch. But he did work a dark match last night or Friday. I think it was Monday night. He worked a dark match against him. I think Kit Wilson.
but we were talking to Nick and Mikey, like, who branch out outside of the WWE main roster, and you and I are like, all right, give us the 411 on this dude. Like, by the way, great podcast over there. BC WrestlePod is great, and Nick's Happy Hour is also great. So make sure you check those guys out as well. But
So I've watched wrestling from Japan, but nothing really recent. So like I like going back and watching like old stuff on YouTube. I like from like All Japan, New Japan, Big Japan, FMW and stuff like that. But I really haven't watched much of New Japan. The little bit when I was still stationed at Lewis and you and I were kind of tinkering around with watching AEW. We saw some New Japan talent there. But yeah, this guy, I haven't seen him, but hopefully this is something that could pull Shinsuke like out of the I don't have a storyline doldrums and there's nothing for him to do.
it makes sense. Let him go on a tear. Let him work with MFTs. It'll do both of them wonders. It's not going to be a bad thing.
No.
You know what? Wasn't a bad thing and I was happy with? Kevin Owens and CM Punk.
Yeah, 100%.
Until it was great, until it wasn't great. And it was great, but like, again, the egregious, like, the ref bump, right? And like, you get like basically Punk getting like a 10 count, KO getting like a 10 count, like, and still no ref, right? Like, we're just going nutso. And then Sami Zayn comes out. And
but they've been doing that spot for 40, 50 years.
It's just ridiculous, though. Like, and any other time you see a wrestler like wave the guy down and another one comes scurrying out, like
KO did, but I think that's when Sammy came out or something, right? Sammy came out or something happened.
Punk did at one point too, and it was just like up until it became overbooked, if you will. Up until it became overbooked, it was a really fun match. Like, they were going tit for tat. They both were laying it in. I was loving this match. I was looking forward to it, so I'm not going to lie. I'm a KO
I loved
guy.
it, like, even before the match, they try to do the ring intros and they're pushy, shovey in, like real. It was like a big fight. I think it was
You know,
done really well.
it's funny.
I will
when
agree with you. The only thing, the ref bump was like the only notch against it. All of Sammy's interference and what it all added.
That was well done.
That was well done. Just the ref bump. But you had to find a way to get Sammy in there, so of course the ref has to die.
Why? And like, I get it. You know, you're gonna, you know, now you got your face Canadian,
I guess. Yeah.
You got your face Canadian and you got your heel Canadian, whatever. Like, I'm going to say, though, like, I have missed Kevin Owens a lot because there's little things that KO does. And, you know, we talk a lot when it comes to, like, a Roman Reigns about aura, right? And, like, Kevin Owens has a low-key aura of his own. And it's, you know, it's not just the, I'm here for a fight, you know, fight Owens, fight kind of deal. Like, dude, like he comes out first, and what does he do? Just chills in the corner rope, sitting on the top rope, like staring at his opponent until he decides not to.
Yeah, he's not posing or nothing. He's not.
Nope, no games. You know, you get a little and then he just goes to his corner and he just sits on the top rope and mean mugs the other guy. I love that. I love that about KO, and like, you know.
Well, it adds legitimacy to him too. It makes him.
Yeah.
All the Sami Zayn
stuff was good, believe it or not. I know I'm griping about it, but like, I do get tired of.
It was good to see a very vicious Sammy Punk, Sami Zayn.
Yeah, it was like good. I just there's a little desensitizing that WWE does a little bit when it comes to interference. And I feel like they go to the interference so effing much that I've become desensitized to it.
It's not special when it does happen.
Right. It's not as impactful. And that's part of the problem, right? Like, we've seen shows not that long ago where like 3 or 4 of the matches were all like had interference. And it's just like, okay, like, and it's just like, it takes away from these moments that are very impactful, but like, it took away a little bit from this because it was like, oh wow, Sammy interfered, but he didn't interfere. He interfered on Sami Zayn's behalf, not on Kevin Owens' behalf. Not, you know what I mean? And it's just like, but okay, you know, and it was done really well. But like I said, I didn't get that like impact, right? Like, because they've so desensitized us to like interference, and it's just like, ugh, cool, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, yeah, this is cool, but okay, you know.
Now there's a part of me that wishes they would have saved the Sammy heel turn until last Friday night. Like, they could have.
Dude, he's been working on a heel turn for the last year.
I know. A year ago, we didn't know.
You want to drag it out longer?
I know. I'm just saying, like, if it would have worked out where like that was the defining Sammy heel moment. Like, he's already been heel now for a couple of months, but if it would have worked out where that was the time they pulled the trigger, it would have been much more impactful.
It'll be fine. But you know what? He's never gonna outdo KO. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, one of my favorite KO moments before he got hurt was him running off with the Winged Eagle belt and just walking out like he's champ. Oh my God, I loved it so effing much.
Is that when Triple H like confronted him, like when he was walking out, or is that after he beat up Cody? Triple H like confronted him on the ramp, like he was walking by the Tron.
But I don't.
It went viral.
It was just great. We went like a couple of weeks with
Sean,
it.
we can't remember crap.
Hey man, we're in the now. When will then be now? Soon, and it's now. So, but
what I liked about this too, now you have a lot of feuds that are personal feuds, but all wrapped up as well around the world title. Like, you got Cody, Randy.
Just want the belt off.
You got Sammy, KO. There's got to be another top feud up there that in the title picture.
Well, there's adjacent ones. So obviously, Randy Cody is a great feud going on right now. They have good stuff going on.
You know, you're going to run back KO and Sammy, Punk and KO, Punk and Sam. Like, Punk's gonna lose the title because he can't beat everybody, and that's how they're gonna end his title reign.
Well, we'll find out. But you know what? We're gonna go down to QEW, Matt. We're gonna head over to Ottawa, and we're gonna head to Ottawa for freaking Raw. And
So
boy,
hey,
did Raw start off
who
fun.
was the SmackDown MVP? You think? Kind of hard to pick one. No one really stood out.
I'm gonna say Push. Nobody stood out in this episode.
Yeah. All right, we'll call it.
There really wasn't anything. I was gonna say KO, but not really. Like maybe Sami Zayn. But if you made me pick, I'd probably go Sami Zayn in this.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning that way too, because
you bookended Sami Zayn, right? Like,
yep.
He was the bread and the
Started with
sandwich. So
yeah.
Okay.
All right, that'll be good. Yeah.
But let's have some fun, because first off, we learned a valuable lesson in Ottawa last night. We learned that Solo Sikoa and LA Knight feed off of each other very well.
Yes.
Very well.
It's great chemistry.
You know, and a little bit of it at a couple of moments did come across as campy, but first off, Solo's got new merch. I might actually have to order some new merch, because like, what was it? It was like, this is your warning shot. Pew pew. Like, oh my god, it was awesome.
Oh, I can't wait to see the Matrix knockoff stuff that they're going to do. They got to do a Matrix,
bro.
Christy and I were both like dying.
I was
Solo
dying.
Had us in
I was
tears.
dying, dude. I was dying so hard because
Christy's like, did he just do the Matrix? I'm like, yeah,
sure, she did.
Oh, it's just like the pew pew outside. Like, just.
Oh my god, there was so much good in it though, because he's like, this is a warning shot, pow, and like Solo's like, rrr. And like LA Knight, like low key, comes over to put his hand underneath Solo's back so he can go lower to give him balance. Oh my god, those two had me dying. I was dying so hard.
They act like people that have been like around the same circles together for a long time, but never really got to connect as friends. And all of a sudden now, like they have, and it's like, you're my new best friend. You're my new best friend. We got to catch up on all the time we wasted. Like,
we're brothers now. There's so much room for activities.
Yeah, but it doesn't come across stupid here. Well, I mean, LA Knight took his sweet time coming around. Like, he didn't trust him, and then finally, once he did, and his eyes were open, and the seas were parted, and
I think that there was no way LA Knight couldn't have turned around and trusted Solo, just because when you're Samoan spiking Roman Reigns instead of you, he could have taken the easy road, and he didn't. Now, we can go back to that previous week, and we can actually talk about it, because we got a recap about it. The Usos just sitting there like, just like, what did you do? Like, really? You're like tribal chief just got spiked the shit out of, and you guys are just like, what did you do? After you got your Ufalafas and stuff. Like, I love that LA Knight intentionally butchers the Ulafalo name. I'm just like, yes, excellent. Reset you back to factory set. Oh my god, I had so much fun with this opening segment. It's not even funny.
Was
like,
what a great way to start off the show. So it was like, okay, this show might be a banger. It'll make up for SmackDown. Had its moments, but
it had its moments. But like, so you get this first match. Like, I'm not very excited about Stephanie Vaquero right now. Like, I don't know what it is. It's not. It's good. It's all right. I don't know if it's, Judgment Day fatigue right now, but like, I don't know.
I think because we all really want to see Stephanie and Becky, like, do a match. And I think people would rather. I don't know if the fans want to see Becky as champion more, but maybe not bringing them out the same night. That may not have been a good idea to bring them both out back the same night.
Well, you could have brought him out. The way this ended was fine. It just, I don't know, man. Like, I was just like, I get, this goes back to the desensitizing of me, right? Like,
well,
I have seen Judgment Day interfere on others' behalf so effing much that I just don't care anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And it's pretty bad when like Michael and Corey have to explain it so you understand. Like, we should be able to pick up what they're putting down. Like, well, Stephanie's realizing now that she owes Becky one and she can't, it's never one-on-one and all this stuff. Like, that should be told between the two girls here. Like, Becky was starting to say it last week, but she didn't really follow through on it Monday.
Nick is very excited about keys. We'll get into it. But
Okay.
we're seeing his, the beauty of Mac is you get to see everything pop up on your screen. So, like, I'm seeing his text messages in our group chat.
I saw it, but I was trying not to lose my spot.
So, Dom and JD start giving Ray some crap, and Javon wipes the floor with him. Which, are they pushing too hard to have this edgier, like, Javon Evans? Is that, like, I don't know. Like, we'll get into it.
I don't think so. I think it's been pretty good. I actually like it because we talked about when we first came on how we liked them, but you wanted to see something else.
I need a character though. The problem with Javon is not his in-ring stuff. I need a character. I need something to get behind, and like, I'm having a hard time with that. Like,
this aggression part, I think we're starting to see it in his promos. Like, he's calling people out, like he called out Big Cass. Now he's calling out Dom and, JD for giving Ray crap. So Javon's like, hey, I ain't putting up with this.
Well, they also had history from the previous week where, like,
right,
JD and Dom kind of set him up for Cass. So
plus that might have been just Javon's idea that night for a pre-match workout. Go beat up the Judgment Day.
Well, that's okay.
I liked it too.
Moving on.
When he was in the ring, when we talk about the match that he had with Big Cass, Javon was talking some crap in the ring, a little bit more trash talk, and I liked it. It takes him out of that kind of generic mid-carder. I'm like, okay.
El Generico.
Yeah, that guy looks awful familiar, El Generico. He looks like he reminds me of somebody.
Well, good. We're talking about luchadors because we get our first semifinal match between Dragon Lee and Ray Phoenix, and just pump that shit into my veins, bro.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I was just like,
yeah.
Yup. Dude, the announcer desk spot where Dragon Lee comes flying out through the ropes and somehow perfectly times it to hit Ray Phoenix with his ass. Like, it was beautiful. It was one of the most impressive wrestling things I have ever seen. And this match was just like, I was like, best 2 out of 3. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah,
give me
more. That was the only thing I wrote down from this match was the crazy dive into the cannonball onto Phoenix, because that was incredible. But everything else they did was just, I just wanted to sit there.
Perfect.
I didn't want to be distracted. Like, I just wanted to watch this. It was up there with Gable and Ray last week.
It sucked because we got a commercial in the middle of it, and it like really took me out of it a little bit. Much so, Katie was like, "Are you not really paying attention?" I was like, "I'm trying to get back into it. They screwed up my mojo with the commercial." Like, I was like locked in, and then I got a commercial, and I'm just like, screwing around on my phone, like, dude. And I was just like,
No, see, yeah, because when I watch wrestling, I'm not usually locked in on the screen. I'm checking the baseball scores. I'm checking, I might poke at Facebook. Especially if something's going on, I'll listen to it. Like if it's the whole Paige and Tiffy thing. Like, yeah, I'm not as engrossed in that. Like when they're backstage. But this match, there was no checking ball scores. There was no
nope. No, and we've talked about this before. So obviously, like I said, we had this group chat. It's us, it's Mikey, it's Nick. And like, you can kind of tell how certain things are going based on the interactions.
Oh yeah.
In that chat, right? Like if it's like quiet, you're like,
something
good shit's happening.
Yeah.
Or if it's just lame and stupid, the buffoonery kicks in. Like it is like the ultimate gauge of how the show is going. You know,
that's when we start chasing shiny objects and get off on weird tangents.
That's where like my memes just start taking off.
Yeah.
So
certain people talking about wishing they could get a devil's kiss from Vakir. We won't mention any names. Nobody from this podcast, though.
No. But he's got some very deep-rooted thoughts. Not just about Vakir.
We all have
good for him.
Yeah, we all have dreams.
There's nothing wrong with dreams.
No. It's
all right.
Not illegal.
So the contract signing. Don King, a.k.a. Paul Heyman, is out doing Don King, Paul Heyman thingies. And, yeah. There's a little boo-boo face, hurt buddy shit going on with Braun Breaker at the end of this. Like, it was a good segment. Both guys did well. They held it down.
One of the better contract signings I've seen in a long time. Like, it actually...
I like that it didn't full-fledged go retarded until it did.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, we got substance. We got a lot of what was supposed to happen. And then it compressed down. And then it became, like, dirt time.
Yeah. And Paul Heyman putting his marketing hat. Fear the spear.
Yeah, fear the spear. Like, all right, thanks, Don King. Like, moving on. Like, thank you.
It's just that instead of all his hair being on the top, all of his is just on the sides and back. That's he's the reverse Don King. But I thought the dialogue was good between Braun and Oba. At first, it felt very rehearsed, and then it kind of started flowing. Like it hit a point.
They started getting into a groove.
Yeah, Oba, like, it was Braun's first statement. I'm like, oh, this is like, remember we used to play, like, SmackDown versus Raw on the PlayStation? And the storylines, you had to pick, like, what lines to give in the promo battles? That's what it felt like. I'm like, all right, do I hit X, triangle, or, the circle?
Up, down, left, right.
Sure. Xavier Woods would know. I don't know. And then it finally got going. It was good. And then the end where, like, he just slams a clipboard at Paul, and it's like, oh, you got to sign for your boy? Like, is this like, you got your new friend here, like, going to sign for him?
Yeah, I was kind of like, we just going to be boo-boo face about shit? Like, yeah.
Well, Paul's got a reputation, Paul cares about Paul.
He does, but, like...
Paul will use people and discard people as he seems fit. So, like, Braun's obviously like, man, like, Paul had me as the future. Now, like, am I going to be like his latest castaway? Like, is he going to go latch on to
No,
Obafemi?
because Paul told him what he had to do. You think you're the future? Show me. Like, I have no problem with anything that Paul Heyman did in that, in the lead up to this. But
you want to do this feud good? Have Braun go over first.
Yeah,
that would be like shocker out the gate, like. And what I want him to do is I want him to take Oba, like, long, like 18.
He said he was going
18,
to,
20
and
minutes,
it was a good point.
Wear him out. And then Oba's
I honestly hope they do that. I hope they do that, and I hope Braun goes over, because what you do by having Braun go over is you preempt the, you've turned this guy into such a monster, you can never have him lose now. They did that with Gunther and effed it up, right? Like, they had Gunther just steamrolling everybody, and then it was just like, all right, well, then who can beat him?
Well, I mean, I am glad that Oba lost one to Brock. At least they put a loss in that story. That's good. So it's not like he's undefeated.
But he got the first one, so that's the problem, right?
Right.
Brock evened it. So, like, now we need him to fight from behind, right?
Right.
Like, now it's time for him to fight from behind. And what it does is it actually makes him more viable. Right?
Yes.
Like, because if he just steamrolls like Braun Breaker, I don't think that does anything. But I think if Braun Breaker takes him long and he goes over, now Oba's got to eat some crow. He's got to be humbled a little bit. Oba is definitely being sold as the face here. So, like, you have to, like, put Oba in the right... This is going to be a three match series. Like, I have no doubt in my mind. So, like, if you're going to keep
maybe more with some tag matches thrown in there, I mean, you can get a lot of mileage out of this story.
No, and I think that this is probably, to be honest, if we're being honest, this is your long-term feud that can just feed people for quite a while. So, like, let's keep it where,
Hell, you want to have it go
Jacob
long.
would say, let's keep it 100.
Well, if you want to have it go long, those are your last two guys in the Men's Royal Rumble in February. Those are your last two.
No, they're the last three. And somehow they take each other out, and whoever's the last one wins.
Sure. And then that's a good one, too. And then they can go try again at Elimination Chamber.
All right. So, speaking of Jacob and keeping it 100, freaking frack.
This. You like this, though.
I did. I freaking frack. There's one big thing that I liked about this, which is they're like, they keep on showing their oofalafas, and they're like, yo, we got these now, and we're captains, and yeah. And it's just like, Jacob ain't having none of it, dude. That shit ain't gonna last.
I don't listen to
and the best part that I loved about this whole thing, when they're like, you just stood there. He's like, yo, Tribal Chief told me to stand down. I stood down, just like I was told to. So either you have to have control over Jacob, or you don't. It's one or the other. You're not going to get both. And that's what was established.
And the Usos still think they're in charge, so they told him to sit his ass in the back. Not like Jacob was all about wanting to go out and help them out anyway.
No.
He didn't even show up at the end. He just parked his ass back in catering and chilled out.
I think it's a very interesting tale to be told. And I think that I want to see this continue. And I want to see it go long, because I want to see the Usos on the outs. I think the Usos go on the outs, not Jacob. And I think that you get a little more mileage from that, right? Because I think we all expect them to just have the Usos stick with Roman. Jacob's eventually going to leave. He's going to go hang out with whomever, blah, blah, blah. Like, we expect Jacob to break free. But the beauty of it would be...
Didn't the Usos break free before, too? Well, they broke free. They didn't get booted out.
Are we really going to have this conversation right now? Because I'll do it, man. Because I'll tell you right now.
I don't have the whole flow chart of the
them.
bloodline story in front of me. So.
It's not even about that. It's the fact that after everything that they went through, everything that they had to do to break freaking free, as soon as Roman won the title, they're like, hi, boss, we're back. Let's do it. I forgot everything. And, like, I just don't get it. And the only person that hasn't done that is Solo.
Yeah.
Solo's like, F you.
They have, like, Stockholm Syndrome. That's what
it's
the Usos.
Crazy. It is absolutely nuts to me that they let that happen. And they're just like, hey, boss, we're doing this, right? Like, one's in the air. And I'm just like, bro, yeah, they just turn their bellies over and they're just like, yay, bloodline. And it's just like, bro.
And Jay's like off the chain, like he's like out of.
Oofalafa. I'm a captain now. I am the captain now. But no, like, I can't stand the Usos right now.
No.
I just can't stand either of them.
I think I said this last week. You could have had Jay go off the rails. Jimmy could have been still a little bit more of the peacemaker, common sense Jimmy. Like,
he's
Jimmy
still the quiet professional a little bit. Like,
yeah, but not
because like at the end of that segment, he just held up the Ulafala and walked out.
Yeah,
But like, bro, it was just. There's certain things I want to talk about something quick because it kind of ties into all this. So we had somebody that made a comment on one of our shorts that was talking about, like, in the beatdown, why did there need to be a dialogue between Solo and Roman? And I wanted to touch on that because it's a very good question. Why did I feel that there needed to be a dialogue? And the reason I felt there needed to be a dialogue was when you go straight into the problem with this bloodline story is you have to make it make sense, because none of it makes sense. It's just a mishmash of, it's like a mashup of like previous shit. And like, you have to make everything make sense. So the reason I wanted a dialogue, I didn't want this thing where it was just Roman like, oh, bow down to me. I am the tribal chief. Like, I didn't want that because I wanted a dialogue. Like, why do you feel you got to do this? Why do you feel that you don't have to acknowledge me? I beat you. Like that stuff, you know, you could have had Solo simply go, I acknowledged you, but it doesn't mean you own me. You know what I mean? Like there's it goes from, how do I put this? It's the equivalent of a second grader writing something and a high schooler writing something, right? Like that's the difference, context. And it was a prime opportunity because in this bloodline story, nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. And it's getting worse.
Is Roman going to be on Raw next Monday? Because
yes,
Solo,
he will grace us with his presence, Matt.
So it's bi-weekly with Roman on average. So every other week we can.
Full time, Matt. It's still summer technically.
Full time half the time.
50% of the time it works all the time.
For full time half the time for certain parts of the year.
Bro,
gotcha.
I'm there all the time when I'm there.
So Solo this week did not really talk much about Roman Reigns, other than when he was like thanking LA Knight, and they kind of, doing their buddy stuff, and maybe his little, but he didn't really focus on Roman because they had to focus on the Usos. I guarantee you next week there's going to be some dialogue with Roman and Solo. There has to be.
I hope so, but
you can't.
But you can't. The problem is they went straight to the ass whooping.
Right.
Like I'm going to teach you a lesson
next week, and you wait like another couple weeks. Well, then that beatdown that happened like last week, in the whole Solo Spike and Roman moment, kind of loses its steam. So I think you got to address it next week. It's got to be, especially before Sunday night's main event. Like things have to be.
I think that there's so much. This is what I'm talking about. There's so much in the bloodline story that doesn't make sense, and we never get any. Like, if Roman Reigns,
Jacob makes sense because Jacob's doing the honorable thing, and yet it makes sense that he doesn't.
He's the only one that provides context, though. Like stuff that doesn't make sense to me. Why did the Usos just go belly up and just fall right back in line?
That's your big problem.
That makes no sense to me whatsoever. Why were the Usos, as much as they want to talk about, hey little brother, hey little brother, hey little brother, why were they so giddy and childish and stupid when they had it delivered Solo to Roman Reigns? Right? As they were just jumping around and parading. And why was it like that? Like, there's no context. There's no, it's so shallow on the point.
Why would you cheer somebody that would treat their brother that shitty, too? That's what I don't get.
This is why I hated there was no dialogue in that segment last week. This is why it bothers me, because it was a prime opportunity to make me understand. Because all we got was like, all right, they brought him there. He said, meh, and Roman was like, beat his ass. And that was it. That's all that came of it.
Because Roman had good heel heat last week. He had real good heat. Like, he worked to get the heat, too. Like, he was actually playing with the crowd. My fear is that if they don't do something next week, they're going to lose all that heat. Because, of course, you lose the heat by having the
You lose the heat when you're not there.
Yeah, you lose the heat when you're not there. And then the Usos didn't do any favor by coming through the crowd yeeting. Like, they should have just came out on the ramp.
I saw something today that I can't talk about. I'll talk about it later. Because first, we'll get back to him because there's more bloodline coming to you because that's all Raw is about.
Definitely a good sidebar, though. I like that.
No, I get it. All right, Big Cass and Javon Evans.
But we won't be on this too long.
No, we will not.
Not overly impressed with Big Cass.
I don't. Why Javon? Like, that's what I don't get. Like, I
thought Evans looked really good, though. He matched up well against the bigger guy, but it's just, I don't know. Like, Cass was like lumbering around, and I know it's been 8 years since we've seen him in WWF, but he seemed to be a little bit better in the ring, for what I remember.
I think he
also didn't wear work boots and jeans either.
Well, he's also probably like refined his skills over those 8 years. So like,
I mean, he's definitely refined his abs. Holy crap!
hey man, sometimes you got to hit the guy. I have abs. They're just in a cooler.
I do too.
The
I
six pack's
protect them.
there, man. It's just in the cooler.
I just protect
But
them. I like to keep them. I like to keep my six packs insulated. Yeah.
yeah, I don't get the whole again Judgment Day, and I think this might just be a little bit of Judgment Day fatigue on my own part. It was like whatever. And then at this point in Raw, I'm just trying to get to the next semifinal match. So Lyra playing Looney Tunes basically goes, "Let me take your freaking spot." Yeah, no, F you. Because that ain't
I
gonna
didn't care
happen.
for that. I didn't care for none of that. Didn't like any of that in the back. That whole segment was like that was a throwaway segment.
Yeah, it was.
I
It
mean,
was what
it's our.
it's
I know
to
they're trying to
establish Lyra as Looney Tunes.
right, and as Soulless EO is now as a duet. They're a group now. They're a team. So I get it, but it was all visual. Nothing important was said. I was just acting silly, and just so she could say Bailey's name again, and then that, yeah.
Well,
Sure.
given recent reports, saying Bailey's name on TV is a big deal right now. So,
Well, yeah, because they don't know if she's leaving the company or going elsewhere.
if they're saying the name, they feel pretty good about themselves. Just saying.
So, yeah.
All right. Then we get the second semifinal match, and it goes just as much as. So you and I were talking about this a little bit, like how like you weren't like as enthralled with La Parka as you thought you would be, and I think that there's a little bit of gamesmanship here in the terms of obviously Penta and La Parka don't work together very often anymore because
That's
they're
true.
in different organizations. I think that La Parka was probably the safer option for Penta so that you could have some AAA representation and not just WWE dominate it. We knew this was going to Penta Ray Phoenix. This was going to be brother v brother. And like they did a great job selling it on the ramp. Like after this, Penta goes over, obviously. It was good. Bro, I thought he snapped freaking La Parka's neck when he did the Mexican Destroyer.
Yeah, off the
Yeah,
ropes, like springboard.
The way he landed, the way La Parka landed, I was like, and I was like, is he alive?
No,
it was good.
You saw Penta give him like the little tap or something, like make sure he's all right. But I mean, it was good. La Parka is fun. Like I really like the character. It's very unique.
I think we didn't get to see a lot of La Parka-isms because I was kind of disappointed because of commercials. And like we didn't get like what I wanted, which was like a little bit more of the character La Parka, right? Like we didn't get a lot of his dancing around and stuff like that. And like I said, I have a bias towards La Parka, but like, damn.
But that's
it was still a good match.
It's not the same guy that was La Parka in WCW in the 90s
no, I know.
either. Yeah,
I know, but it's still a nostalgia ticker for me, though.
Yeah. No, I like the character. I think what it was is we had such a good match with Dragon and Phoenix. This was not going to match up to that, but it was good for what it was. Penta can't do half the stuff that Dragon and Phoenix can do.
No, they are definitely a little bit different styles, but I also think that like Penta and Ray Phoenix are also like know each other very well, obviously.
Yeah.
So I think we can see some really creative shit next week. I'm looking forward to it.
This tournament has been so cool because you talking about run-ins and interference. You haven't had any of that. It's been straight up matches.
It's been straight, and I've loved it.
There's been like no shenanigans, no BS. I've really enjoyed even though it's been predictable, the way they've laid out this tournament and the way the matches have gone.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
nothing felt forced. So, like in the last time is now tournament, they missed so many opportunities to do fun stuff, like internal to the tournament.
You're getting some big dream matches in this tournament. I mean,
but like this has been a great showcase for like the luchadors and everybody else, and like honestly, it's got me just chomping at the bit for Triple Mania. Like And like, there's a little bit of reminders there. Like, I do like a little bit of the LA Knight touching on it. Like, hey, he had this tournament. I wasn't invited. You get, Dom running around like, I am the king of the luchadors. He's like, no, not really. And no. Like,
Well, and then his father tells him why he wasn't in the tournament because you're not a luchador. And I'm like, excellent, perfect. But it made the tournament important because people wanted to get in it but weren't allowed to. So
yeah, no, it made it exclusive. It was a very set group, and I like it. I truly, 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 truly believe this is leading up to Roman Reigns Penta. And I think that there's huge opportunities there. Not to put Penta over, there's huge opportunities to put a lot of heat on Roman if you do it right. And I think that you can do it right because that crowd in Mexico City is going to be off the effing rails. Not just off the chain, off the rails. And that crowd is going to make you feel things. Because I can tell you right now, like, as little as I watch AAA, because, like, it's going to sound like so arrogant and, I only tune in for the big things. You know what I mean? But, like, as arrogant as that sounds, like, I really do. But, man, that crowd makes me feel things. You know what I mean? Like, when it was Mask v. Mask and it was El Grande Americano versus Chad Gable, and I was just like, oh, my God, this crowd has got me so invested. Even before the match even happened. And there was stuff just...
I would say they got better crowds than even the Lyon and Paris crowds because they're more passionate about it. The France fans, they just make a ton of noise, which is cool. I love it. But, I mean...
I think the difference is there's a little bit of a sense of ownership, right? So I'll give an NFL equivalent. Like, obviously I'm biased because I'm a Bills fan, but like when you're in that stadium, you own it. That's your team. That's your people.
Yep.
But when you go to certain stadiums, LA-ish, right? There's a good chunk of fans, but it's also like 50-50. I'll even say like Miami, right? Miami sucks. So like, and the weather's good. So what do football fans do? I'm going to go watch my team in Miami and get some good weather. And they go down to Miami for a freaking, whoever in the Dolphins.
That, and you get a lot of Northeasterners that live in Florida now. So you get a lot of
stadium becomes split, right? Like you cheer to cheer, but there's no ownership. And I think that's the biggest difference between like European crowds and like crowds in like Mexico. Mexico crowds own it.
It'll be very interesting to see how they build up Roman prior to the match, because that's the Monday Night Raw after Triple Mania, right?
I believe so.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
So I think,
and you're gonna have to walk a fine effing line. I don't want to see any of the. Let's get into it because we're gonna come back to that. Hold that question.
All right.
Because I want to come back to that. But I don't want to tip our hand because we're on the last match. So Usos versus Knight and Solo. And like, this was what it was. Solo pretty much spent a good chunk of this, like getting his ass beat.
Yeah.
However, ...
Yeah, he was definitely playing the face in peril. Like,
but you know what? There's just some fun stuff. And then, what the F, Matt? What the F happened at the end of this? So, Royce Keys comes out with OTM, which I have no opinion on OTM. I don't even know who they are. Don't know. So, earlier I had mentioned that I was reading through the IWC to get some insight. Because you were like, I don't get it. I was like, I don't get it. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't understand the dynamic here with this interference. The bottom line up front, the Usos get their ass beat. LA Knight gets his ass beat. Solo Sikoa everybody gets an ass whooping from OTM, and I'm pretty sure it's OTM. and Royce Keys. Okay. So your gut reaction right out the gate is this has to do with the ass whooping he got a couple of weeks ago, right? Like where he got demolished. Okay. Cool.
But why would he attack Solo and LA Knight over it?
So now I'm starting to wonder, like, did I miss something? Were they in the building? Did they, you know where I'm going with this? Like,
yeah.
Well, were they in the building? Like, was it? So this is what I went to the IWC for, because I was like, what am I missing? And my understanding is LA Knight had a segment and he ended up leaving the building. So LA Knight is gone. Solo was not seen on that show that night, I don't believe, or he whatever. But apparently during the beatdown, Keys was pretty much like, you didn't help me or you didn't save me, or whatever. Is that really the angle we're going with here? Like, you left me. Like, so I had to go find people. Like, okay, but you knew dude left before you got your ass whooped. Like, you knew you didn't have the backup that you thought you had because he took off. Right? Like, I can't absolve somebody for their piss poor decision making. And that's really where I was having a problem last night. I was like, did I miss something? Like, were they there?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, did I miss a save? Did they just cower in the back and not come out and save him? Or were they just not there? And if you made a choice to pick a fight with the bloodline and not shoring up your assets, so to speak, and making sure you had backup, that's on you. So we're going to get dejected, boo-boo faced Royce Keys. Like, all right, he's a heel. And then I saw some ridiculousness. Somebody said that, like, when the bloodline faces LA Knight and Solo Sikoa, they're going to be heels, but when they face Royce Keys and, like, his group, they're going to be faces. I'm like, no. No. I mean, Roman, according to reports, is listed as a heel on the back. Which, as far as I'm concerned, he is.
Yeah.
But his shtick is going to get old real effing quick. They are in perilous waters, as far as I'm concerned. Perilous. First off, LA Knight and Solo can continue this feud and carry on great shit, but if you're not showing up giving me context, you're going to lose it, dude. You said it. He got good heat when he was beating up Solo and what.
Real good.
All that shit went down.
They turned on him.
He was getting heat.
Finally got.
And then all of a sudden, you disappear again. Like, you're not stoking the fire. You let the fire burn out.
That's why they have to address this next week, because it's been 2 weeks. You know, this isn't wrestling from 30, 40 years ago.
But now it's already diluted.
Right.
It's already diluted because now you got like Royce Keys and his cronies. Now Roman's going to have to address that. So now it's going to be the Usos and Jacob, when Roman's not around, having to deal with Royce Keys and the other two clowns with a side quest of Solo and LA Knight.
Which should be the main.
By the way, then he's got to fit.
Quest.
Should be, but can it be? No.
Yeah, because they were all.
It's all a cluster. It's all a clusterfuck. Sorry.
No.
Whatever.
No,
take that out in post. It's also screwed up.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is also screwed up. And like none of it makes sense. And then injecting Royce Keys and these other two dudes into the mix just makes it even murkier. Right? So who's the focal point? Is it just Jacob, Royce, Usos, and OTM? Is that the deal? So what's Roman? Is it Roman, LA Knight, Solo? And then going back to the tournament point. Oh, by the way, in September, which is not that far off, you now got to face Penta. Or Ray Phoenix, but I think my gut's saying Penta. I think they're enamored with Penta, and I think they see Penta a little bit bigger than they see Ray Phoenix.
Yes.
But, so let's assume that it's going to be Penta. So now you got to do a build. Are you just going to show up and be like, he earned it? Is that going to be the promo? Is that going to be it after next week? Is that all we're going to get? Like, no interaction? So Where's our focus? You know what I mean? Like, this is what's been annoying me.
They're kind of screwing this up because now, if you look at SmackDown and the world title, they get a nice little group. Like I said, with individual feuds, but the main focus is the world title. With a bunch, I kind of like how they're doing SmackDown right now with the world title. This whole thing with the bloodline, I'm kind of liking it. I ain't got too many gripes, and we still got other players coming back. Drew McIntyre eventually, and it's a lot better than the title picture on Raw right now. Because I think the tournament is good, but after this tournament's over, you know,
do you devalue the tournament if you do not do a build? Right?
Absolutely.
It's about to be September 1st. So hold on. Let me look at my magic calendar on my iPhone. So next week, when they do the finals with Rey Fenix and Penta, is the 31st. When's that Triple Mania show, Matt?
11th and the 13th of September. It's a Friday and a Sunday, I believe, right?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah. Damn,
2 weeks to do a build for a tournament. But the problem is, who do you focus your build on? That's the problem. Do you just ignore it and just go, well, I got this thing over here that I have to do. It's an obligation because they had this tournament. And I'm just going to ignore Solo and LA Knight. Like, what do? And now you've injected a whole nother mess.
Honestly, I think after this Mexico show, I think Penta might be part of the Solo LA Knight team. If they're going to build this up to Survivor Series, if they're going to go bloodline in the War Games cage, you got to add people to Solo and Knight, and I think Penta especially if Roman screws him over, he's in. Now you just got to.
So what do you do with Royce Keys and OTM?
See, that's why if you could have had, I was thinking if you brought Royce Keys out and OTM and they just went after the Usos and beat the shit out of the Usos and Jacob, you didn't have to turn them heel. They could have instantly. There's your 5 right there. You would have had LA Knight and Solo.
So.
And Royce Keys and those other two big guys.
This is why I said it's all a mess. Like, you know, I'm gonna paraphrase Harry Hogg.
When I said I didn't get it, like they attacked everybody. Like if they would have just went after the Usos, they're like, okay, that's cool.
Payback.
Yeah, but
and that's what I said. Like Boo face Royce Keys, like we're gonna hit everybody.
Yeah, like Royce isn't obviously man enough to call like LA Knight on the phone or Solo, like, hey, what the hell happened? Well, LA Knight left early because of blah blah blah, and I was doing this. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Then they could have talked it out, but it's WWE, so we have to resort.
And that's
to
my point, right? Like to paraphrase Harry Hogg from freaking Days of Thunder, there's far too many roosters in that hen house. Like
that's why. If you're going to bring back Drew McIntyre before Survivor Series, if they're going to do this War Games thing, I'd bring him to Raw and I'd put him with LA Knight and Solo because he still has a beef with the bloodline.
But I think that this is going back to what I was talking about Jacob, right? I think what I really want to see is they did this whole thing. They made the Usos captains. I stand by my statement. I can't stand the Usos right now.
Oh,
I cannot stand them at all. Like, and it's not a good, like, oh, they just annoy me. No, they suck right now. And I hate their characters. I hate them.
Jay sucks just because he's like, just be a heel. Stop playing the yeet game. Just be a heel. Be off the chain. That's cool.
That's the thing, too. Like,
Jimmy is more infuriating to me because he was doing a really good job, even though they were going down the heel rabbit hole. Like, he was still kind of the peacemaker. Now he's just kind of like, he doesn't say anything, and then just, well, whatever Jay does, like, we'll go do that. Like Jay's lost like his own ability to think for himself, to be an individual. Like, I'll just do what Jay does because Roman.
But it's okay because, like, raise the ones, you know.
Yeah.
And I can't stand the Usos right now, and that's why, like, somebody said on social media,
it's like playing King. Remember when you were a kid and you played King of the Mountain, And
Yeah.
like at school, we played King of the Mountain. There was always one group of kids that they all banded together, and they always dominated King of the Mountain, and we just hated them. So,
But I don't hate them because they're good. I hate them because they're annoying and they make no sense.
well, they were annoying. These kids were like annoying. That's
But-
what like that's
But
what like
my
Roman
point is
Usos
that
are.
like
They're like those annoying kids. Oh, we're playing. You can't play. Like nobody's beating us, and they just take great joy in letting you get all the way to the top, and they just toss you back down again.
I think my big problem in all this is that, so I saw on social media, so somebody said like, oh hey, when they go up against Royce Keys and Solo Sikoa, they're gonna be faces or be heels, but when they go up against Royce Keys and OTM, they're gonna be faces, and then when they go up against Solo Sikoa and LA Knight, they're gonna be heels. That is the most asinine thing I have ever heard. Like, they are heels. I've been saying this forever. And like the fact that like people would actually come to that conclusion, like they're tweeners. Bullshit.
If you're gonna
Like-
make OTM and Royce Keys heels, then you got to make sure that the bloodline is such heels that even if Royce Keys and the OTM fight the bloodline, even though they're heels, they should be cheered over the bloodline.
Bro, it's just
But the fans are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to throw their ones up. They're going to, play the bark and seal.
I know. Well, I'll be honest. There wasn't. I mean, the last couple of like that last show Roman was out. There was not a lot of. The crowds have been a little more fickle and cold on the bloodline.
Wow.
So
Well,
like it's been noticeable, but I
As
don't.
much crap as I talk about the IWC, you're starting to see a higher level of negative chatter towards the bloodline and Roman. They're sick of the story.
I think
and,
that
and it's
one
not even
thing
people
is
that say the typical IWC stuff. You'll just see people like, man, I love watching wrestling, but this stuff's getting old. Like, can we do something different? Like, it's
well. I think the other thing that you're getting, and I did see a lot of this today. Like I said, I was going through because I do like to go out and get the vibe of
Yeah.
the world, so to speak, on how are people feeling, right? Like I want to see where we're leaning, and like I always bust chops on Roman Reigns fans. There's even a lot of Roman Reigns fans that are like, I love the dude, but he needs to start showing up to work. Like you have this intricate interlaced storyline. Jay and Jimmy cannot carry that storyline. And like, I'm sorry, they just can't.
no, and even
And, like-
nothing against Jacob. He can't do it either. He has,
No, Jacob's there. He's the enforcer. And that's the problem. And I think a big win, a good swerve would be Usos out, Jacob in. And I think that you should have a demarcation point where Roman finally realizes like, hey, those two ass clowns don't listen to me. They just do whatever the hell they want. This guy
Yeah, but
always listens.
yeah, but they don't listen. But yet Roman makes him a captain.
Yeah, dude, they did one good thing. Like, oh my God. Like, I don't even get me going on this shit. They're going to take their oofalafas and,
You answered all
whatever.
the questions right. We'll go to Waffle House.
yeah,
You know?
way to go, T-ball team. It just, it was like a participation trophy. Like, oh
It
my
was.
God, you finally did something good. Like, meanwhile, they were in the doghouse the whole time. And then, like, I think there's a lot, the Roman Reigns starting to do the every other week thing. I don't care if you're a big fan of him. It's a problem. Because I shouldn't get, the Band-Aid is making them captains in Jimmy and Jay. But that's not the answer. Because nobody gives a shit. Everybody cares about what Roman thinks. And that's the problem. You cannot come back 2 weeks later and address something that happened 2 weeks ago. It needed to be addressed this week. I know
It
you're
doesn't-
saying that they got to touch
know.
on it, but it doesn't.
It's-
But it's
no,
lost
it
all
should've been.
impact.
Yeah, because Solo spiked Roman. That should have been addressed like as soon as possible, not like, oh, well, my schedule. I'm not scheduled for 2 weeks, so we'll just let it simmer on the
Yeah,
stove.
I'm just gonna let it slide.
Yeah.
He spiked me. So are you in charge or are you not? That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't do this shit. It loses all its effectiveness. And this was the problem with his original run. Like, oh my God, he's gracing us with his presence. Well, great. You built all these storylines. You now have, like, damn well near 10 mofos all in this storyline together. And what? You're not around to address it.
And
What,
you're the
we're
world
going to
champ.
run it back? What am I going to get? Corey and freaking Cole going, oh, let's look back 2 weeks ago when Roman was last with us. You know, what was that? Well, who cares? A lot of shit's happened since then. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so bad. So bad.
Well, I mean, Roman still has to address Solo. He has to address LA Knight. Now he's got to address Royce Keys.
He'll have
even
to
if he
address
wants...
whoever wins between Ray and Penta. Like,
Yeah.
that's my whole point, man. Like, you're not building shit. You're just making a mess.
You're just piling stuff on. And like,
yeah, you're just more.
yep.
I
And
don't
by
know
the
if
way,
it's
you got
creative.
less time to eat all that food too. You know, like we piled up
Well,
the plate.
I don't know if it's creative, just going like, well, they're getting the rub. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's just that shallow or what. So I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know how they're going to dig themselves out of this hole, but there is, as I said, paraphrasing Perry Hogg, there's far too many roosters in that hen house.
Maybe they need to talk to the people that are booking the Oba Braun Breaker feud and get some pointers, because I really like how they've been setting that up too.
Well, you need Don King.
Yep.
You know who doesn't need Don King? The If We Had the
These
Pencil
nuts.
podcast.
Oh, I was going to say, I said these
All right,
nuts.
well, fine. But anyways, Matt, tell the folks where they can find us,
Hey,
brother.
it's been fun tonight.
It has.
Sure. Hour 25 minutes, it flew by. So you can find us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, X, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. So when you're in your car going to work, if you got an Apple phone, man, turn on that podcast app and you can listen to this. And what better way to start your day in rush hour traffic than to listen to our calming voices and intellectual dialect throughout?
I know, right? Like, we even use curse words like big boys. But no, folks, thanks for all this. Hey, man, we're about to hit a milestone, so let your friends know.
Oh, yeah.
We are about to hit 200 subscribers on our YouTube channel. So, like, folks, not many spots left. Time to get up there and start subscribing. And
that's
if
all right.
not,
They'll be part of the next 100. And then
that's all right. We can just keep going. But no, thank you for everybody
with a
that's
little
supporting
podcast.
us.
We're gonna be the little podcast that could.
I know. Oh my god. Oh my god. So we'll talk.
Here we
about
go
this
with
after.
our prolonged goodbyes.
I know, right? Well, if I
really like their podcast, but it takes them like 10 minutes to say goodbye and
Get
get
off
off
the
the
air.
air.
Well, no. So I'm a huge fan of the Expeditionary Force book series, and they actually talk about the little engine that could, and like they actually talk about this in one of the books where they're just like, well, that engine put himself in all sorts of a bad situation. What if it was a union? And he was pulling stuff outside of his scope. What if he got hurt? What would have happened? And all those big engines bullied the little engine into doing his work for him. It instantly went there. But you know what, folks? Thank you. Matt's right. We are the little engine that could. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your neighbors' friends, tell everybody. Start subscribing. And keep up the interactions, folks. As you saw, we read everything that comes onto our freaking comments section. So, like, we want to hear those thoughts and feelings so we can share them. It's great stuff. We want to have a dialogue. So, with that, though, we're going to pop out of here. Hey, we're only a week away from Sunday night's main event. I have to keep on saying Sunday night. I have to do it slowly because I keep on missing it. So, we got another week to go here. So, we'll see you guys on Tuesday. And have a great week. And we'll talk to y'all next week. We're out.
Take care.